Hey guys, today we're going to talk about the biggest inconsistency in the FBI's official story on the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and that is that they say he was shot in the neck with a .30-06, and that the hole that we see in Charlie's neck is a entrance wound and not an exit wound. Before we get into this, I will just say these are all my opinions, and you need to do your own research here. The reason I say it's unlikely that the hole that we see is a entrance wound is that entrance wounds are always smaller. They're much smaller than an exit wound. If you've ever been hunting, if you've ever shot anything, you know that the entrance wound can sometimes be hard to find, and that the exit wound is the big wound where all the blood starts gushing out of. Additionally, of course the FBI hasn't come out and told us what type of round Tyler was using. They did tell us the caliber, a .30-06, but they haven't told us if it was a full metal jacket or a hunting round, a hollow point. My opinion, if this guy had any sort of wherewithal about him, he would be using a hollow point or an expanding round. Very briefly, the difference between a full metal jacket and a hollow point is a full metal jacket round. Here's the bullet here. This is the casing. Has a lead bullet that is encased in copper. The goal of a full metal jacket bullet is to penetrate as deeply as it possibly can through any sort of obstacle and to just keep pushing forward no matter what. An expanding round is what people use for hunting, and if you're trying to deal the maximum amount of damage to a fleshy target, they actually expand. The bullet itself is hollow, so when it hits something soft like flesh, it expands and makes a very large wound cavity. Here we're going to look at some footage of people shooting ballistics gel with a .30-06 hollow point expanding round that you would typically use for hunting, and you can see exactly what it does to ballistics gel. Now, ballistics gel is designed to simulate flesh. It's designed to simulate the flesh of big game or a human. These blocks, there's actually 2 blocks here, they each weigh about 18 pounds. So they're not super light. And you can just see here for yourself the devastation of shooting one of these with a .30-06. It'll also show you the difference between an entry and an exit wound. Just look at that. Look at the amount of carnage here. That's why I say he would have almost been decapitated. Now take a look here. You can see the entrance wound is very, very small. And as it goes through the gel, it gets bigger. See, that's that mushrooming out that we were talking about of a hollow point round. Let's go ahead and watch this again, just because, I mean, just imagine if that was somebody's neck that was getting shot. Just imagine. I mean, like I said, it would have almost decapitated him. What we saw was likely I don't know. We've also seen analysis of the footage. There's multiple different camera angles of Charlie getting shot, and we've seen analysis of it where we can actually see a bullet in the frame before Charlie gets shot. We can see a bullet directly behind him, which is very, very interesting. We can also see the reflection off a window of a muzzle flash. Again, you can call these just coincidences, or maybe they're some sort of light or some sort of something flying around out there. But we have 2 different camera angles, one that shows a bullet and one that shows a muzzle flash. And this muzzle flash wouldn't have been from the vantage point that Tyler had, just because of how reflections work. This camera was to the right of Charlie taking this image, and Tyler was straight on ahead of Charlie. The muzzle flash, as we can see here, comes from this window, and that means the shooter would have been on this building here, or whatever it was that shot Charlie. So the muzzle flash and the angles here of the reflection tell us the muzzle flash was not from Tyler Robinson's rifle. We can also see in this image here of the muzzle flash, after Charlie gets shot, this woman brings her left hand up and puts her hand over her left ear. That's likely because that's where she heard the rifle report from. If you hear a gunshot go off, whatever side it's on from you, that ear is gonna hurt. So she hears it, and that ear starts hurting, and she puts her hand up to her ear because it's a very loud report. Also, we saw in a very rare post-shooting interview of one of the Turning Point USA members, he talks about looking at Charlie straight on, hearing the gunshot, and then turning to his left.
I was standing from probably the third row in the bottom. I heard the shot ring out. I looked to my left, and then I looked over to my right. I saw him slump over in his chair forward.
If you hear a gunshot, it's instinctual that you just immediately look to where that gunshot came from. Now, you could maybe argue the acoustics of where Charlie was caused some sort of echo or something. If it's just one single gunshot, usually that won't. The echo starts to come into play if it's like a bang, 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 or if it's like automatic fire or someone's pulling the trigger multiple times. That's creating all that echo. If it's just one single shot, you can usually discern pretty well where it's coming from. So interesting, in that post-shooting interview, that guy says he got shot and I turned to my left. So we've kind of got a JFK thing going on of, is there a second shooter or whatever? To me, the most interesting thing is the drone that was seen flying around the event. We can see it just before and just after. It's moving very fast, and it is not a commercial drone. This would be a military drone.
It's just, there's just so much.
Before we had a flag and we had it so it's positioned above the tent so it would be in the camera. It just moved. What was that?
Apparently there's been a shooting.
This was not a commercial drone. People have looked at this. This is very likely a top-of-the-line technology military drone, some sort of assassination drone that's flying around up there. And I believe that drone probably took the shot, and they likely had Tyler Robinson up there as the Lee Harvey Oswald, as the patsy type guy, because this isn't 1963. I mean, we don't need an actual person to be the shooter. We've got drones. You see drones used in warfare. You see drones used in the Russia-Ukraine conflict constantly. And Elon Musk has even come out and said that drones are the future of warfare. So, in my opinion, this was likely some sort of assassination drone that was up there designed to take Charlie Kirk out. Once again, I will just reiterate, these are all my opinions, and do your own research here. If you guys are getting enjoyment out of this, please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out here. Now, just very briefly, we can speculate on the motives here and who would potentially want Charlie dead. A lot of people have pointed the finger at Israel. Candace Owens very famously has come out. She's got several videos out there about how Charlie's been threatened by Bill Ackman and those close to Israel. Charlie was given an intervention where he was told basically come into the fold or else. She said she had receipts for this. She hasn't provided them. I believe she came out yesterday and said, oh, this is just my opinion. I think maybe some people are rushing a little too quickly to point the finger at Israel here. There's no direct evidence implicating Israel, right? In a court of law, you have to have more than just circumstantial evidence. All this stuff that Candace is bringing up is just circumstantial evidence. There's no witnesses, there's no documents, there's no nothing tying Israel to this. It's all circumstantial. So while it is interesting to point that out, and I do have a couple of videos showing Charlie's changing position on Israel. I'll throw those up for you guys right now. It is interesting to document that, but there could be other culprits here too, right? Charlie was young. He was very charismatic. He was very influential. A lot of people within the conservative movement liked Charlie, and a lot of people said he could have been president someday. All right, now keep that in mind. He could have been president someday. So this very well could have been some sort of left-wing Democrat type thing, similar to what a lot of people think the Trump assassination was about. Thomas Matthew Crooks, being some sort of patsy or fall guy, trying to take Trump out for a larger Democratic goal of getting Joe Biden, the autonomous, dementiated Joe Biden, who likely didn't have the mental capacity to be the general manager at a McDonald's, let alone the president of the United States. Get Joe Biden reelected, the empty suit, so the deep state could run the country behind him, I very well think that same apparatus could have been who took Charlie out. Charlie would have been someone who wouldn't have been able to be compromised. You wouldn't have been able to bribe him. He has his morals, he has his beliefs, and he would have stood by them steadfastly. And he would have been a very difficult president to get to play ball, as they say. So that could be another angle we could take here, is somebody wanted to stop Charlie, before he was able to run for and possibly win the presidency of the United States. I will say as well, it is much too early to make any rash assumptions here. I think we need to give this some time and let some more information come out. I do think the FBI is not to be trusted here. I think we can see that from the Epstein case, that the FBI is essentially just almost like a propaganda arm of the government. They just kind of fucker everything up. I mean, they raided Epstein's New York residence without a seizure warrant the day he was arrested. They didn't seize evidence. They searched his New York residence and they just left. They came back 2 days later and everything was gone. His island, the infamous island, it took the FBI 5 weeks to raid his island. They actually only raided it after his death. He got arrested, and 5 weeks later they raided his island. We can actually see in drone footage shot by a guy from the YouTube channel called Rusty Shackelford that Epstein's island went through a complete remodel. We can see his kitchen go through a remodel in the 5 weeks leading up to the FBI raid. So, and he had 3 other residences in the United States. He had a ranch in New Mexico, a house in Ohio, and his Palm Beach residence. All 3 of those were never raided. To this day, have not been raided. And also, French authorities did not raid his Paris apartment until after his death either. So, my whole point with all this is, and we could bring up other examples of this too, but yes, the FBI is not to be trusted. Take everything they tell you with a grain of salt, including all the information they will unlikely dump on you about this patsy, Tyler Robinson. Just very briefly, we can touch on the whole Tyler Robinson thing. There's a lot to unpack with him. There's footage of him walking around campus before the attack where he doesn't have a rifle. They say that he had it disassembled and stuffed in his pants. I mean, the guy's wearing skinny jeans. We can see there's no rifle. He allegedly changed clothes and came back, and he assembled his rifle up on the roof, and then he jumped down after the shooting. He jumped down off the building like a 15-foot drop, ran away. He stashed the rifle. He took the rifle with him, but then he threw it away in the woods, and then he texted his boyfriend or lover or whoever, and basically admitted to the killing in a very weird way. He told him to read a note that was under his keyboard, and the note was later destroyed. And in his text conversation with his boyfriend, he admits to doing it, and it's the text seems very robotic, like he's just admitting everything. I mean, there's just a lot we can go down. The boyfriend himself had social medias. He had TikTok, he had Reddit. All those social medias are still up. Anytime something like this happens and people get found out for something, they always delete their social medias. It's just a natural reaction. This guy has left Tyler Robinson's boyfriend has left all his social media up, which is very strange. And we could just keep going with odd things about this Tyler Robinson guy. I've seen videos of ex-Navy SEALs, ex-scout snipers, Marine scout snipers, talking about how difficult it would be to make this shot, a 200-yard shot. If you're just out there, plinking with your buddies, it's one thing. But if you're actually there in the heat of the moment and it's hot out there and there's people there and you're nervous and you're shaking and you've got adrenaline pumping through your body, it would be very hard to make that shot, especially for somebody like Tyler Robinson, who's a young, likely gay man who's much less competent to pull this off than all these Navy SEALs that are talking about this and saying, yes, it would be an extremely difficult shot, and I don't know if I could make it. If you want my opinion on this, on the text message exchange with his boyfriend or lover, all the weird things about him stashing the rifle and assembling it and disassembling it, and you want my opinion, it's all just a smoke screen. It's like a diversion. It's like QAnon, right? I mean, in my opinion, QAnon was a diversion. It's a smoke screen. It was, you've got these emails of John Podesta and Hillary Clinton, and there might have been something really, really damning in there. There might have been some sort of code that they were talking about, but what they did was they created this Pizzagate, this QAnon thing, so everyone focuses on the wrong narrative. Everyone focuses on all this information. I mean, QAnon was, it was like these people. It was like a scavenger hunt. People would post something up. They would say, go check this out, and people would go follow and look at it. And it was like a mystery box, like one of those whodunit mystery boxes that you can order online. And it was just kind of like a little fake mouse maze. The cheese is here and the mice are here, and everyone's just focusing on all this crap while the real story fades into obscurity. That's just my opinion on it, but that could be what all this information about Tyler Robinson is about, is just kind of creating a smoke screen and putting a bunch of false crap out there to keep everyone busy, while footage of the drone that was footage of this military drone that was flying around the thing just kind of fades into obscurity. We don't think about that. We don't think about the muzzle flash that you can see. We don't talk about the bullet that you can see going in the back of Charlie there. It's all about Tyler Robinson and his gay little roommate and all this stuff. So something to think about there. If you guys enjoyed this analysis here, you enjoyed my take on it, please please subscribe to the channel. It really helps me out. I'm a very small YouTube channel. We'll see you on the next one, guys.